bitch, I'm a beast.
What's happening? Yeah, back active here on Uncommon Sense. You did what I'm talking about. Man, look, man, I ain't never did this before, but I've been excited to do it, and I think I'm gonna do a lot of them. Yeah, reacting to TikToks that will throw your whole game off, throw your whole brain off. And a lot of this stuff be stuff I already be on the channel talking about, man. Trying to help y'all to emotion and game and about the way things are. You feel what I'm saying? That's what we do on Uncommon Sense. We make you realize things that was not common sense. It's not a part of your everyday life. So you think reality is like this, but it really ain't. These folks they pulling the strings like puppets around that thing, man. I'm here to tell y'all. I've been trying to tell y'all that. I've been trying to tell y'all that about everything. Your food, the music you listen to, the things you're into. It's all capitulation, man. It's all cap.
Do y'all know what
you know
no
what I mean?
cap
These folk
means?
pulling a big one over your eye, man. So we about to start reacting to these TikToks that will change your way of thinking. Very uncommon TikToks too. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm excited to do this. Let's get straight into the video. But before we do all that, man, hit that subscribe button. We going up and more up. You hear what I'm talking about? We are going upward. So go and tap into that, and then we gonna tap into these TikToks. You did.
Was the moon built
to keep an eye on people and as a vehicle to travel the universe?
My granddaughter and grandson have been to the moon.
It's not a moon. It's a command center with probably 25 to 35 different civilizations in there, but they have personnel living here. Their families live here. The kids are getting educated. It's a big facility.
1934 LA Times article.
He said the moon is a facility. I don't know, man. Tell me what y'all think about that one. If that is true, and they in there peeping us and watching us and living in there, that's crazy, man. I thought the moon was controlling the tides.
That specifically says Lizard People's Catacomb City hunted. Engineer sinks shaft under Fort Moore Hill to find maze of tunnels and priceless treasures of legendary inhabitants. G. Warren Schufelt, geophysical mining engineer, used cutting-edge technology at the time in the form of radio x-rays to detect minerals and tunnels below the surface. It turned up catacombs and vaults that made up a vast city. Schufelt met with a Hopi Indian, Little Chief Greenleaf, told him the ancient story of how an advanced race called the Lizard People had built a massive underground city using powerful chemicals instead of shovel. The Lizard People were highly advanced and incredibly smart, according to the Hopi chief. Their city was built with an advanced type of cement stronger than anything modern people could make.
I've been told that the moon is a machine filled with computers. It watches, observes, downloads, uploads information to someone somewhere else in the universe. It has been used as a monitoring and manipulation station by non-humans for millions of years. I have talked with people who have worked in government intel agencies. People who would be CIA, NSA have said, it's absolutely right.
If you were in the deepest lake in the world and were attacked by giant intelligent fish people, what would you do? So there's this conspiracy about this super deep lake and how there's basically an underwater civilization there that some call aliens, and yeah, let's talk about it. So in 2009, the Russian government allegedly declassified these top secret documents, and it was something about the Russian Navy encountering something in the deepest lake in the world, Lake Baikal. Lake Baikal is over 5,000 feet deep. That's over a mile deep, so you can see how something could hide from the rest of the world there. The document goes on to tell about how in 1982, the Russian Navy divers were doing this research mission 164 feet deep, which is 50 meters, and that they encountered something while they were down there. They claim that they suddenly realized they were being watched by these humanoid-like figures that were 9 feet tall, wearing helmets, and didn't have normal scuba gear. These things that were watching them had become known as the swimmers of...
They had helmets. 9 feet beings, humanoid beings that had on scuba gear. All right.
Baikal. And when they saw these things, being an average Russian diver, they decided to go and capture one of these 9 feet tall alien swimming things without any weapons or equipment. And
why would you want to bruh, you in their environment. Why would you want, you don't know what the, bruh, you might start a whole Aqua War, Aquaman. War. Why would you try to capture one? Humans are crazy, man.
Guess what happened? Basically, these entities reacted to the divers coming at them and forced all 7 divers up to the top super quick from super deep. And if you know anything about diving, this is really bad. If you're a diver, there were 7 divers and 3 of them died from the bends, which is like decompressing really fast. So yeah, people think there's like an ancient civilization down there, and they see like lights over the lake sometimes and down in the lake, and it's really freaky. It's pretty crazy. What do you think it was?
As many as 10,000 levels of floors inside the moon that are all built out with technology. It has a supercomputer inside of it, and the moon is an ark, meaning that you could package up an entire planet, the plants, the birds, the animals, and the people, and put them all inside this artificial construct in what looks like an ordinary moon, and then actually pilot it somewhere else. There is a distinct possibility that a very ancient extraterrestrial race actually brought the moon to Earth's orbit.
The internet apocalypse.
I don't know how I feel about this moon. I'm gonna have to do more research on this moon thing. That is definitely interesting if that's what they're saying. I ain't never heard that one before.
Approaching us, an event that could cause people to lose internet access for months or even years. Scientists have warned about the potential impact of an upcoming solar storm, commonly referred to as an internet apocalypse, which could strike within the next decade. Solar wind can make satellites unstable and not work properly. But what would happen if the internet suddenly stops working? Without the internet, the global economy would completely collapse in a matter of months, if not days or even hours, and technology would suffer greatly. In short, it would have severe consequences. We could actually die. I'm just kidding. But still.
Bro, some people will feel like they did if they, man, let some of these people internet get cut off at the house. They don't know what to do. They be acting like the world is over. He capping, he playing about being unalived, but yeah, mentally you would be. Most of y'all without the internet.
Old when I found out.
Meet your straw man.
Yo, I'm so glad this just popped up, man. I've been trying to tell y'all about this money game and what they're doing and how they playing the game with us. I be trying to hip y'all to what's really be going on all the time about this money game. I'm so glad to see a TikTok about this. I hope they bust it down perfectly so you can understand what's going on with yourself, your your financial, who you are, your social security number, your birth certificate. I hope they bust it all the way down, man. The straw man. Let's find out what the straw man.
He was born the same day you were. He looks like you, has the same name, and lives in your house, but you never knew he existed. You will have even paid his parking tickets or taxes. The worst part? He's been dead from day one. From every birth certificate, a legal personality, or legal fiction, is created with the same name to confuse little old you into thinking it's you. So, there is a human you and a paper you, or as it's commonly known, a straw man. So when it seems like government officials, court clerks, or the police are speaking English, they aren't. They're speaking legalese, designed to make you agree to verbal and written contracts without even knowing about it, all spun from Black's Law Dictionary. For example,
bro, go get that Black's Law Dictionary. You will learn what legal terms really mean. That's what I tell y'all. Stop calling yourself black, because black on paper in America means nothing what you think it is. You think you're talking about your color and race. Go find out what that thing mean in legalese. What do they call it? Legalese, however you say it. Go find out what black means as a race when they ask you what is your ethnic group and you put black. When they ask you what your race is and you put black, go learn what it is.
when the police say, "Do you understand?" you'll say, "Yes." What they are really saying is, "Do you stand under our authority?" Oops-a-daisy, you just created a verbal contract with them. Oh, you clever government. Did you know that whenever you register something, you are handing over title to the person you register it with? That's right. Whenever you register something with the government, they assume it belongs to them. Registered your car? Super! Now you are the registered keeper of your vehicle, and the government can crush it when you don't pay your, straw man's taxes. Expecting a new bundle of joy? Well, then you need to register your little darling with a birth certificate. Then they can start the process all over again and create a new straw man for your little one. Isn't that great? So when Junior grows up, he'll be able to generate revenue just like you have. When you notify on your baby by signing the birth certificate, your child becomes a ward of state, and if the government doesn't like what you're doing, they'll assume it's okay to take the child away, or make new rules for things they don't like. Not enough school? Smacking your child? Shouting too loudly? Then it's off to social services for the little one. When you get a bill, it's sent to you, but belongs to your straw man, not you. That's why bills, fines, and summons start with Mr., Mrs., or Ms. Sometimes you'll see your surname in capitals, just like on a gravestone. That's because your straw man is dead, and just a silly piece of paper, created before you could comprehend or even consent to it. When you go to court, you represent your straw man, so you, the human, take on any costs, fees, taxes, and fines involved for the straw man. The human you doesn't even need to pay them. But you made a contract with the court by appearing on behalf of your legal personality or straw man, just like the government knew you would.
They find a single inky bone in Denisova Cave.
Hold on, before we get to the inky bone, man, that's a lot. That's a lot to take in, man. I told y'all, bro. Please go do your research on what's going on in this place we call the United States of America, where actually it's a company. On to the next.
And they do DNA testing on it, and what they discover is this is another human species who they named the Denisovan, and they also interbred with anatomically modern humans. It's another example of a missing chapter in the human story that is beginning to be pieced together. It's obvious now that we were not alone. They left behind certain physical objects which are extremely hard to explain. One of them is a green stone bracelet, and a hole has been drilled through the bracelet. That was drilled with a stable, fixed drill, and it was drilled at extremely high speed. This is thought to be 40 or 50,000 years old. There's not supposed to have been any such technology in that period that was capable of drilling with a stable, fixed drill. Yet,
I don't know why people let other people or whoever started this cap ass about people was just only dealing with goddamn sticks and stones and bones. It's ever, bro. Why would you say we don't know how they built the pyramids? They didn't have the technology to do it. Where are you looking at the damn pyramids? And evidently they did have the technology to do it, because you looking at the evidence. I don't get, like, evidently they had more than what they told you they had. Somebody lying to you, and you got the evidence in your face, and you still don't want to believe.
there it is. And there are indications of strangely out-of-place technology amongst the Denisovans, which is 20, 30,000 years earlier in the human story than it should be. Those kind of needles, that kind of bracelet, you could expect to find them in Neolithic, but to find it in the Paleolithic is very puzzling.
Our moon is some kind of artificial satellite, a base to observe Earth.
One side of the moon is always facing the Earth. Only one side is visible from the planet's surface. It means that if you're an ET race, you can build anything you want on what we call the dark side, because nobody on Earth will ever know.
You know, they could have all their ships parked on the far side of the moon, visiting the Earth, doing whatever they need to do, monitoring the Earth, without us ever knowing what's there.
But let me tell you, this is the best information you're ever going to hear. There's some amazing evidence that suggests the moon may be hollow, and it comes from our own USGS.gov. When you download these official NASA images and look at them, you start to see immediately that there's subsurface structures. It's the smoking gun that the moon is definitely hollow and there's structures beneath it.
Is this real? Can somebody tell me if this is real? Because I'm not an astronaut and I'm not a science man. But can somebody tell me what in the monkey dust is going on? So ever since they went to the moon, these men are taking it to the next dimension. They flew past the firmament. They didn't go to the moon. These men are flying to the sun. So please, somebody answer me this. In school, they said if the Earth was 2 centimeters closer to the sun, we would all burn up. Who remembers when they said that? Do you remember? Somebody, you remember? These men are now saying they are able to fly straight into the sun. And to add insult to injury, when you go into space, it's cold and it's dark. Where is this heat coming from? Why is it heating up on Earth, but in space it's cold and dark? But these men know the shortcut to the sun, 500 million miles away. Oh, you son of a bitch.
How did this man...
Oh my God, that's funny. Cause it's so true, like, bro. They say we was 2 centimeters closer to the sun. We were all, but like, why do we believe these people, bro? Use your brain. It is cold. You will freeze. You will freeze in space. Why? Oh my God. That is funny. Okay, man traveling, let's see.
Travel 800 years into the future. In 1943, an experiment called the Philadelphia Project was conducted in the attempt to use Einstein's unified field theory to make the USS Eldridge invisible. However, things went wrong, and the warship started phasing in and out of time. A survivor, Albalek, and his brother Duncan jumped overboard for safety. When they awoke, they found themselves being treated in a hospital for radiation burns in the year 2137, where he reported that a climate catastrophe had already altered the world, and in the wake of World War III, the US is no more. Subsequently, he was pulled further into the future to the year 2749, where he lived for 2 years, reporting yet again that there was peace on Earth, as everyone lived in mobile floating cities, controlled by a super AI robot. He was then pulled back to his original timeline, where he eventually worked on the Montauk Project. But even though the government has disavowed him, the question we should be asking is,
this footage is 100 years.
Asking what? How you just get home? Come on, man. Y'all playing too much now, man. But yeah, I've heard of the Philadelphia Project about the Navy ship and everything that happened. And that ain't the first time I've heard that way far in the future, 700 years, that it's going to be peace on Earth and the government is going to be AI, basically. AI going to tell everybody how to govern everything. So, yeah.
Old. It shows part of the military exercises that took place off the east coast of the United States between 1921 and 1923. The Martin MB-2 airplane is emitting a trail of chemical smoke that rains down to the surface of the ocean, forming a dense smoke curtain hundreds of feet tall. The smoke is created from a highly toxic chemical called titanium tetrachloride. It's a colorless liquid that reacts with air moisture to form the smoke you see here, which consists of hydrated titanium acid and hydrogen chloride. It is dangerous to work with, an irritant to respiratory systems, and can corrode metal. It's not hard to imagine how this process of delivering huge chemical payloads by airplanes at altitude would be important to later developments in geoengineering and cloud seeding. If they were doing this 100 years ago, imagine what they can do now.
Here's how your perception of reality is falsely influenced by the media. Let's rewind the clock to the early 1900s. There's a guy, he's a brilliant Russian physiologist. His name was Ivan Pavlov, who happened to stumble across something really interesting while he was studying dogs. So in Pavlov's study, every time he would feed his dogs, he would repeatedly ring a bell. And over time, he conditioned the dogs to associate the sound of the bell with food. So even if there's no food around, if someone rang that bell, smell, the dogs would start salivating, drool coming out of their mouths. And just like that, classical conditioning was born. Now here's how it affects you. Let's zoom in on the modern age, where politicians and the media are masters of using classical conditioning to shape how you perceive the world around you. Their enemies become the villain in your mind, and they use your emotions as puppet strings that they pull without you even knowing. So how exactly do they do that? Well, imagine this. You're watching your favorite news channel. Every time they talk about a certain enemy of theirs, they play intense music. They show dramatic visuals, and they use really strong language to paint this person as the big bad wolf. And that repetition over time will condition your brain to associate that person with danger and fear to make them your enemy as well. And just like Pavlov's dogs connected the bell with the food, it becomes automatic. And here's the real kicker. Once that conditioning sets in, it's very hard to break free. Those perceptions become ingrained, shaping your opinions and your actions to the point where people will literally start to hate someone and believe that they're a racist, a misogynist, a danger to society, or whatever else the media wants you to believe about them. We all know people like that who have false beliefs that they feel so deeply about, but they can't understand why they hold that belief. And if you question them about their beliefs, it usually goes something like this. So why do you think he's a racist?
Because all the stuff he says.
Stuff like what?
Oh, you know, a bunch of stuff. I've seen so many videos of him.
Now you would think that if they've seen a bunch of videos, then it would be pretty easy to just pick a few examples, but they can't. Even though they feel so strongly about their belief, they have no idea why they even have that belief to begin with. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the power of classical conditioning, and it is extremely hard to break. The only way to break it is by awareness and by learning to question everything, even your own beliefs. Apply logical reasoning.
Question what I keep trying to tell y'all. Man, look, man. Question everything. Just because they look official and they say it, but like, bro, like if it sounds stupid, most likely it's stupid. Okay? Like I said about the pyramids. We don't know how they built them because we don't have we don't have it. Evidently, they had it. So you telling me the folks were just working with poles and levers and scooting it on wooden rolling wheel? Man, come on, man. And they just had horses and shit dragging it. Evidently, I'm looking at the pyramid. So evidently what you're saying is not true. They had some technology. Man, stop believing everything people say. We give too many people too much credit. Stop it.
Why do I have this belief? And if you don't have any logical facts backing up your beliefs, you might have been conditioned by someone else to hold that belief. Remember, you hold the remote control to your mind. Don't let anyone else press those buttons without your permission. If you like learning and understanding the world from a different perspective, make sure you follow me and interact with this video so that the algorithm brings you back to my content.
Great news, everybody. North Korea just launched their first nuclear-capable submarine. It's a real beauty, isn't it? Well, it's based off of technology from the 1950s, Soviet tech. And South Korea said they're not too sure it's gonna even work. But I think the last thing we need is a wild dictator with more nuclear power in his hands, as we have enough issues already. Of course, the United States government is very busy. They have a lot of money to give to Ukraine. And we got a lot of turmoil with our president and our senators falling asleep in the daytime. I tell you, I never imagined the world to be so messed up right now. And the more you look and see this crap, you just get tired of it. Every day you wake up, it's more nonsense happening. I guess everybody's just gonna wait around and see who they hit first, right? I would say for a country who starves their people, they sure have a lot of money for military.
They sure got a lot of money for military. No, that's right. So do we. Where you getting your money from? Cause we ain't fought nobody. That's crazy. Yeah, man. Love those videos. I'll be doing a lot more of these, reacting to these TikToks, man. I love that. That was fun. So, man, look, man. Use the common sense. So, till the next time, I'm outta here.